country. God is good all the time. Heidi and I are always trying to figure out ways to improve our situation. The other day I changed the dump gate on the dump truck to haul some brush. And there's a different gate that we use for that to keep the stumps and brush from getting caught on the gate of the dump truck. But what I have to do is I have to put a chain on the gate, pull the pins, trip the dogs, and then lift the heavy gate off of the back of the dump box. So in order to do that, we have to chain up and use the excavator or backhoe to take that off, and then put on a little handmade gate that just falls down so the brush doesn't get hung up in the gate itself, in the bigger gate. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to install some D-rings on the heavy gate. I've had these for years, been meaning to put these on. As a matter of fact, I bought these new, and you can see how rusty they are. I've had them for so long. And what I plan on doing is cutting these. I have some angle iron here. It's 1.25 inches, I believe, by, let's see, 1/4 by 1.5 angle iron that I'm going to cut into 2-inch lengths. I just need 2 of them, and that's to fit inside this D-ring. This part here is going to be welded to the inside of the gate, and it's going to be recessed inside of here, so this has movement, it has free movement. It has a little bit of lateral movement as well. So inside the D-ring, I want to have a little bit of sideway movement so this doesn't get bound up. And so then what we'll do is every time we want to use it, we'll just run a chain in here and then hook it to whatever length we want, and then be able to take that gate on and off. So a 2-inch piece of angle iron in there will give me about 3/16 of an inch of play on each side, so it'll be able to move freely. So essentially what I'll be doing is I'll be doing something very similar to how this is put on here. These D-rings here for the trailer hooks for the safety chains, and we'll just be making miniature ones for up behind the dump box on the inside. So we'll start off marking this angle iron off at 2 inches, and we'll get set up in the cutoff saw. Now I found when using the cutoff saw like this, it's easier to always cut at an angle instead of trying to cut a flat side like this, because it takes forever for this wheel to get through a flat surface. But when you have an angled surface, you have less surface area that you're working with. It works a lot easier to cut off when your material is at an angle. So like if I'm cutting a piece of flat stock, I'll try to always cut it with it vertical like this. That way it cuts off a lot faster. Okay, that's how those are going to be assembled, just like so. With these being loose or free to travel when these are welded into place. Now what I need to do is unhook the batteries. So normally when you have a situation where you got a weld on the truck, on the frame, it's a good idea to always disconnect your positive leads on your batteries. However, I have a battery disconnect inside the cab of the truck that disconnects the batteries from the whole system. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip that switch off, but just kind of wanted to show you. Basically, if you didn't know, whenever you're welding on a rig, the chassis, frame, or anything, is that you really ought to be disconnecting the battery when you're doing the welding. Okay, there's a couple more items here that I remembered that I needed to get a hold of to put in the truck, so I didn't have to climb in and out of the bed a whole bunch. Got the grinder, my welding helmet, of course, chipping hammer, C-clamp, square, and myself. So what I'll do is I'll turn the welder on first and climb up there, and it won't take me long to whip out a couple of measurements, clamp that in place, and weld it. Okay, here we are at the this is my old system that I used to have. It had two different options. You could drop the chain down in here to any length you want and put it up in that groove, and it would hold when you're going to lift this out with the excavator or backhoe. Another way you could use this, if all of your chains had hooks on them like this, you could hook it on like this and lift it as well. Now the problem with this is that if you have any slack at all, that hook falls out, and then you have to get back up here and re-land the connection. A little more dangerous than what we're going to do here. Gives us a little bit more flexibility yet. What I've decided to do is go 4 inches in. So at 4 inches and 6 inches, this will be where this connection will be. So I'll clean this up with a grinder. So we have it ground down so where the weld will hopefully hold better. I'm using 60-13 welding rod. And at first I'll just tack these corners on the top and bottom, and then I'll remove the C-clamp. Okay, now with this application, I'm not sure if that's hot or not, so I'm gonna use caution and not touch that ring. But anyway, now all we have to do is we can still hook that up pretty tight and lift this way. You can adjust the chain to any length you want and use that for a lifting point. Now this isn't meant to be a safety video or a welding video or a load limit video. This is just how I'm doing it, and hopefully it might give you guys an idea if you guys are looking to do something like this as well. And this works for all kinds of different applications. If you got something heavy around the farm or a work site that you need to lift, these work pretty handy in this application with these little pieces of angle iron and a couple of D-rings. Anyway, hope this helps somebody out. Thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.